What's going on, my YouTube fam? It's been a minute. How's everybody been? Everybody doing okay? All right, all right. The proper way to start a box trucking business. We've talked about it before. We're going to touch on it again today. How about that? All right. Well, first, listen, if you are coming back to the channel, welcome back to the crib, big baby. As always, it is certainly good to see you. I've been a ghost lately. It's been a minute. So good to see you. Hopefully you're well, and certainly hope that your business is prospering. If this is your first time coming to the channel, well, let me first introduce myself. My name is Kenny. It is nice to meet you. Good to see you. And thank you for taking the time to stop by and visit the channel. Now, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, smash the like button. And if you would like to share the channel, you certainly have my permission, especially if you think this could help those who may be looking to start a box trucking business. By all means, share this video and or the channel. Appreciate that support. Let's see. I did say my name is Kenny, right? I think I did that. It's been a minute. Heck, I'm a little dusty here. Let's get this timestamp out the way. October the 2nd, 2021. Depending on when you watch this, good morning, good afternoon, maybe even good evening. So let's jump right in. How to start, the proper way to start a box truck company, right? I've done a video in the past on this, but I still get emails regarding how to start a box trucking business. So I want to talk a little bit more about that today. We're really going to be talking more about the business aspect of it. But first, you notice anything different? I'll wait. I'm not sitting on my couch, right? All right. So maybe a month ago, I got an email. And I don't always respond to emails right away because I get so many of them. But at some point, I will circle back in most cases, depending on what the email was. But I had an individual who recommended that I invest in a microphone. Well, first of all, thank you for the email. I appreciate that. I didn't let the comment show on the channel because I didn't know how to take it. It was a really short comment. You should invest in a microphone, I think was basically how the email went. And first of all, I did not invest in a microphone. I am using a microphone today, but I've had this microphone for multiple years. I've never used a microphone because I never felt the need to use a microphone for what I was doing. You know, I sit on the couch, open my laptop, and I just start talking, right? I felt that the people that was coming to this particular channel was coming for one thing and one thing only, and that was the content that I was putting out there. And they were able to hear it. No one has ever said, Kenny, I can't hear you. And so I didn't feel the need to come and sit in front of a microphone. I do it all day, every day. That's my business. I am in communication, been doing it for over 3 decades. And so I am certainly familiar with microphones. I put an S on it, but I didn't feel the need to use one. And the only reason why I am using one today is because the couch, the living room is a little messy. I hadn't cleaned it up. So I decided to come into one of my home studios and put this podcast / video out. Podcasting is mostly just the audio, but I've put obviously video with it so you can see me. Not a lot of B-roll, but you can see me. So anyway, that's why I'm here on a microphone today, and obviously the earphone so I can hear myself. But anyway, not because somebody told me to do it. Anyway, let's move on now. What was I here to talk about? How to start a box trucking company the proper way. We've touched on this before, but like I say, I still get so many people sending me emails about this. And so how do I want to address this? There's really only one way to do it, in terms of what the state or the government requires you to have to start any company. You've got to structure a company, whether that's going to be a corporation, LLC, or if it's going to be a nonprofit. the requirements are the requirements. But one of the things that I always do before I enter in any business um, is the research. And I've often talked about, well, probably in every video, I always tell you to have a plan, be disciplined, and be patient, but do your research, right? And so one of the things that I always do is research. I never put the cart before the horse, if that makes sense. So a good thing about using this equipment today, I can clear my throat and you don't even know it. But anyway, um, you got to do your research. And so, in most cases, I hire people to do that for me because I don't have the time to do it in most cases, or I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And so, I hire people to do that for me. They research the market. Is there a market for what it is that you want to do? In this case, transportation, but transportation is broad. There's planes, there's boats, there's buses, tractor trailers, box trucks, expediting, hot shots. I mean, transportation, school bus. I mean, it's a broad industry. And so when you research that, it comes back good because freight is always going to need to be moved. Freight and people are going to be need to move, right? And so um, that particular part of the research checks out. Now, when you dive in to say what part of transportation, we're talking about a box truck. So then we look at uh, the business of box truck. You know, what type of business is normally generated from box trucks? What type of revenue is generated from box trucks? Um, there's profit and there's profitable, right? And when you look that up in a dictionary, it'll tell you the true definition of that. But I have created my own definition. You can make a profit and not be profitable. Like that doesn't make sense, right? If you spend $1 for a week's worth of work and you made $2, you made $1 profit, right? Your expenses was $1. You made that dollar back plus $1. You've made a profit, but is it profitable? Right? And so, and profitable, remember how we used to always say profit to me may not be profit to you and vice versa, because I don't know what your obligations are outside of the business, right? Because we pay ourselves as entrepreneurs, as business owners. We still got to pay rent and our mortgage. We've got to pay utilities, insurance, food, etc. Right? We have expenses. So um, when you look at that, you can say, well, am I profitable? And what's profitable to me? How much do I need? How much profit do I need to be profitable? Does that make sense? And so I look at all of that when I'm contemplating starting a box trucking business. And that comes a long time before I go out and buy anything, right? Some people say, I want to be in the box truck business. And the next day they go look at a truck. Like, well, wait a minute. And so that's, in my opinion, that's the wrong way to do it. Let me say, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to say what you're doing is right or wrong. I'm just here to tell you what I did and the results of it. Could you have done it better than what I'm going to tell you? In most cases, probably absolutely yes. But this is just me telling you what I did and the results of it, if I can remember everything, because it's been a minute. But after that, now in order to do research, you have to hire somebody, or I did, to do what I call a BP. That's business plan. And a business plan in most cases cover a lot of things. People think most of the time when they get business plans, it's specifically to get funded, right? And in most cases, that's what it's for. Whether you're going to get funded from angel investors, you're going to a bank, you're trying to get a grant, you're going to need a business plan. But even if you're going to fund this yourself, it will let you know what you need, because there's always going to be things that, oh, I didn't know I would need that. I didn't realize I would need that. That's where that business plan come into place. That's why I'm always talking about have a plan, be disciplined to work that plan, and be patient to allow that plan to develop. That makes sense? And so I always utilize those tools before I actually go out and start buying things. And so the other things that you got to look at, guys, this may turn some people off a little bit, but I'm gonna be honest. That we talking. When you are starting a business, you want to come from a position of strength and not weakness. Now, let me just say what when I'm saying weakness, what I mean by that, because I have certainly been in position of weakness several times in my life. Hope not to be there again, but I have been. Many of you have probably been, and maybe you haven't. I don't know. Um, but that means I went into business without the three C's. What are the three C's? And I wrote it down here: credit, collateral, and cash flow. Let me say that again. That's credit, collateral, and cash flow. If you are starting a business without those three things, in my opinion, you are starting a business from a position of weakness. Now, on the other hand, weakness is not, um, for most of us, is not a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a place that we stay long. We may pull up to weakness and we pull away on our way to strength. Does that make sense? Um, I certainly didn't grow up with money in my pocket. I had to work, and still not where I want to be, but I had to work. You have to put in work. When you open a business, that doesn't mean you are a boss. You can just sit on your booty. That's not what that means. That means you have responsibilities, and if you have employees, you got responsibilities because you're their means of livelihood. You're taking care of them now. It's a responsibility. Everybody's not built to be a boss. Okay, um, being a boss requires a lot. One of the things it requires is good decision making and researching. And so you may start from a position of weakness, but you're on your way to a position of strength. I don't know if you remember on a previous video, I shared something that my mentor shared with me, and he was talking about one of the paths to get to wealth is save your money, never save more than you can afford, and eliminate your debt. Get rid of your debt. Got to get out of debt. Think about that. If you save your money, what do you have now? You got some money, right? If you've had a mortgage, it's paid off, you've got some collateral, and you've got to take care of your credit. So now you've got those three things in place. Now you're ready to start a business from a position of strength. So I think that's really key. That a lot of times we are impatient. We are in a microwave society. We want what we want and we want it today. We don't want to get it Monday. We want it now. And so we want it on Saturday, not on Monday. We want it today. And when you become impatient, you make mistakes. You do things you wouldn't have not have done had you to follow the process, had a plan, discipline, and patience. And so that's what I believe. Save your money. Save your money. Be patient. You'll be okay. So many people say, they'll do videos. You only need X amount of money to start this business. I don't get that. I never. How do you know that's how much money you need? Ask them. Let me see your BP, your business plan. And one of the first things you're going to do, guys, in your business plan, you're gonna have a bio. Tell me a little bit about Kenny. And if you're going to present this business plan to a bank, they're going to look at all these things, right? Um, you're starting a airline. Do you have any background in aviation? No, I don't. Okay. Um, you start a nonprofit. Do you have a pilot on your board? You know, these are business conversations that we don't normally have. We normally say, okay, we got $5,000, $10,000, and I'm gonna go over here and rent me a truck, and I'm gonna start a box trucking business. And people say, well, Kenny, we got to start somewhere. I get that, but again, in my opinion, not telling you what to do. Why do you have to start today? If you've got $5,000 or $10,000 that you're getting ready to put into this company, let me tell you, that's not gonna get it. Yeah, you can go get into a truck and get your company and maybe your authority started, depending on your down payment, and you can get out there. But you are not starting from a position of strength. You are one blowout, transmission of being out of business. That's not from a position of strength. How about if you got 10, take some of that and pay your debt off. Get out of debt. Now you can save more money. You can afford to save more money. Never save more than you can afford. And you wait another year or two. And now you got 50,000 or 100,000, maybe even more. Now, what does that mean? Now you don't need to go rent a truck. How about you just outright purchase this truck? Right? So now, if somebody tells you you're going to make between, I don't know, $5,000 and $8,000 a week, well, that profit is going to be bigger now because you don't have to pay a truck note. Does that make sense? Your insurance, maybe you paid that up for the whole year. You're not paying out insurance every month now or every quarter. You're doing it annually now. Does that make sense? So just because you can make $5,000 or $8,000 in a week, well, okay, that's a gross number. How much are you able to retain of that? What are your expenses? And we're not talking about personal expenses. We're talking about just to operate that truck, right? I hate when you get some in your eye. So that's why I say you've got to start off the proper way. You've got to have some money. You've got to have some credit and some collateral. Now you are a company that is investable. People may want to invest in your business. And we're going to have some guests on the show to talk about how to get funded if you are looking to be funded, right? I think these things that we're talking about is really key when you're thinking about starting any company. Are you coming into this business from a position of strength? Most people, and I think I've shared this as well in a previous video, most people, at least 85, if not to 90%, this research is old, by the way. This is almost a year old research, was coming in renting a truck. And you're paying so much money. And the funny part about it, well, I shouldn't say funny. The thing that was concerning is that most people that were renting it thought they were getting a good deal. I'm only paying X amount of dollars. I'm only paying $500 a week. Most people that I know is paying way more than that now, but that's $2,000 a month. That's not from a position of strength. When I was talking about I'm going to be in a hotel every night, and so many people say, "Oh, you're not going to make a profit." Well, wait a minute. You don't know my situation. I don't know your situation. But if I have to pay $2,000 a month for a truck, I have to go out every day of the week, try to get loads, right? Just enough money to stay in business. That's not smart. It's not smart. So how do you start? The proper way to start a box truck business, any business, is save your money. Have some money. Have some money. How much money do you need? That's why I say you need a business plan, and you know exactly how much money you're going to need. Because in that business plan, whomever's doing that business plan for you, and you need to pay for that if you don't know the proper way of doing a business plan. You may come up with what you think here's the numbers are, but you're going to miss something unless you're qualified to do that or have experience in doing it. Um, but if you get a business plan, you're going to know, right? So invest in a business plan. That's what I would first tell you to do. Sit down with that person that's going to do your business plan. Um, and also have a CPA. Go through these numbers so you can start from a position of strength. Okay? This may not be what you were looking for in terms of a video on how to start a business. But if you talk to anybody that is qualified, relevant in business, they'll tell you this is the proper way to do it. This is before you still go. You thought I was going to come on here. Go find you a truck. There's steps before you get to that. Is buying a truck the proper way to do things? Or is leasing? There's pros and cons on both sides. If you buy, you can build business credit. That's what I did. But you really don't get a lot of tax breaks on that. I'm not a tax expert. You get your, I paid for registrations. I can write that off. Check with a tax person. I'm not an expert. But you can't write those payments off on a retail. Check with a tax person. I'm not an expert on that. But you can on a lease. All those payments for a lease you can. Now, no matter if it's a retail or a lease, fuel, write off. Maintenance, write off. Registrations, write off. ELD, write off. Anything for your business is a write off. But your big expense on that truck is going to be the payment itself and the fuel and the insurance. Maintenance will come in somewhere after that. I lost my train of thought. So there's more to it, guys, before you just say, okay, I'm going to go get a truck. Most people that are looking for a truck, the first thing, before I sold my truck, I had so many people call me about it, but they had to go and get financed. And they kept saying, I don't understand why I'm getting denied. I got good credit. Well, if you're trying to go finance a truck that's 20 years old, doesn't matter. Bank is not going to do it. And so you got to know all of this stuff, and so it's important. It's really important. Trying to think if I missed anything. And then we can, if we start talking about now, once you've done all of that, you've gotten your money, you got your credit, you're good to go. Then we can start talking about what's the next step, trucking and dispatching and factoring and all of that. As I've also said, you want to try to wean yourself off of dispatching and factoring as quick as possible. You want to get to where you can dispatch yourself. Most dispatchers, especially in the box truck lane, they're looking at the load board just like you can do, and they're calling on that. And they're going to charge you 10 to 15, some even 20% just to dispatch you. Factoring, same way. They're going to withhold a percentage as well. And most of them will hold a big portion of your money. So got to make good business decisions. Do your research. Have you ever noticed when you're in business, you start finding out things that can help your business, but would have helped you had you known this before you started? Have that ever happened to you? It certainly has happened to me. Patience. Take your time. Do your homework. The freight is always going to be here. Period. It's always going to be here. And they're going to always have a need to move it. Let's look at what's going on now. I normally don't talk about the pandemic, but a lot of these companies are requiring employees to get this shot. I don't have a opinion one way or the other, but what it is doing is there's a lot of drivers that are no longer driving because they don't want to take the shot. There's a lot of different things going on now to where it's benefit for private contractors such as you and I. The freight is there, and a lot of companies are even starting to be a little bit more lenient on new authorities. But again, do your research, watch the market, see what's going on around you, and I think you will give yourself an edge when you decide to come out here and get into this industry. The person who makes the most money. Now let's look at it this way: dispatcher, broker, factoring company, driver. Who do you think is making the most money? Driver, dispatcher, broker? Yeah, yeah. Go and do your research. You can become a broker cheaper than you can an owner operator. Did you know that? Listen, when we start talking business, this video can be an hour long. I'm going to end it here in a minute, but um, I'm not here judging. I'm just sharing my philosophy, a lot of the things that I did do and the results of it. I don't know if I told you the results of it, but uh, I sold my box truck, not because I didn't believe there was money in it, but I made a 40% profit. I ain't even put a toothpick on the back of the truck. I ain't do nothing. Right? Do nothing. And so it comes down to a couple things. Number one, what is it that you want to do? Do you want to drive a truck? That's fine. You can make some money. I'm not gonna say profitable because I'd have to look at everything. I have to know what your obligations are, what your expenses are, how you got into the truck, etc. And by all means, if you want to have that conversation, send me an email and we'll talk. Free. And but and maybe it's a entry level to trucking. Maybe you're starting with one box truck and you have a plan to grow your fleet. That's smart. Two is better than one, and three is better than two, and four is better than three, and five is better than four. And so that's always good. Somebody says, maybe I need to do a video. Is it time to transition from box truck to semi? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But it's all in how you set yourself up, how you came into the business. I think that is what gives you the advantage or disadvantage. But understand trucking. Understand who is behind the wheel. Understand who's on the phone dispatching. Understand who's the broker. So the shipping company deals with the broker. Broker deals with the dispatcher and are you the driver. But the broker is making the money. Please believe. Really don't. Go check it out. Go fact check it. All right, that's all I have on this particular video. It's probably going to be a follow-up because, for those who are already in position of strength, what's the next step? We'll talk about that in another video. And guys, if there's a video you want me to do that I have yet to do, let me know. Send me a email. If you got a respectful comment, you can leave that, and I'll make sure it gets up on the page. And I would appreciate that. We got some more videos coming. I'm actually going to start going truck shopping myself. Look for another truck. I don't know if I'm ready to buy because I'm not ready to drive. So, but I'm going to go look at some. That's always fun, right? Go window shopping. All right. Remember, guys, tough times do not last forever, but tough people, they always do. Money does not come with instructions. So you got to be smart in your decision-making process. Have a plan, a strong plan, business plan. Be disciplined, be patient, and your business will prosper. You'll do well. Thank you so very much for taking the time to watch this long 30-minute video. I'm sorry I took so long, but it's been a minute. We hadn't talked in a while. I really, again, hope you're doing well and your business is prospering. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. share the video and or the channel. Okay, hit that like button. We'll talk soon. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, by the way.